one thing you get to do as a passive investor is you get to buy into the strategic plan at the front end. And so you can decide whether or not that plan that a sponsor is presenting to you is something that you think will work or agree with. And so that's one thing we're going to get into in this episode that I'm really excited about is how do you decide which strategic plan is one to go with. And so even before you invest as a passive investor, you have to have the right mindset, right? I mean, you're going to be pulling out a huge chunk of your retirement or maybe all of your retirement. How do you mentally prepare yourself to do that, to take all this money from somewhere that you've been taught your whole life is safe and now hand it over to someone that you may have just met at a conference? Or, how do you mentally prepare yourself as a passive investor to do that?
Sure, Heath. So first of all, I strongly discourage anyone and everyone from investing their last lifetime savings or the last money they have without having an emergency fund. And this is one of the required questions on my list to potential investors when I interview them, whether they have an emergency money set up someplace else. If they don't, then I will not allow them to invest with us. I won't even consider them. One of my other questions to passive investors is typically how much money are they planning to invest? Because if they plan to invest in one syndication and that's it, I tell them up front, then, from a tax standpoint, it's not going to benefit them at all. Not to say that they can't do it, they can, but, if there are no benefit, then why bother investing? And what I typically suggest is to wait a little longer and try to accumulate additional funds and be able to invest in at least a couple of syndications. They don't have to do it at once. They can do it gradually over a period of time, but they want to be able to use the tax advantages that are offered through passive real estate investing. So they should definitely consider investing in multiple opportunities. And then another thing that I try to encourage investors is if they want to invest, they need to understand what they're doing. And that is simple. They in order to do that, they have to educate themselves. If someone is educated, they start asking educated questions and start understanding the process and what they're going for. Once they understand what they're doing, there's a reason why they call sophisticated investors, right? Forget about 506C or B rules, but in order to be a sophisticated investor, you need to be able to understand what are you getting yourself into. And if you're not educated yourself on real estate syndications, on the type of assets you're investing in, then how can you do it? I would not allow anyone to invest with me, at least, unless the person understands the process and the type of investing they're getting themselves.